So when it comes to upper secondary students, I think for this project it's really a cool idea to frame it with an engaging driving question such as how can we win the war on waste? And you pose the students with that question on your very first lesson, and then you go through a series of, well, what do I know and what do I need to know? So I always sit the students down and get them to work individually first and then pair up, so kind of like a think, pair, share kind of process. Okay, write down at least 5 things that you know about the project. So obviously, you know, you'd give them the driving question and probably a project outline. So what is it that we need to, what are we inquiring into? So environmental sustainability issues that affect Australia that are represented in the War on Waste series. We're going to be creating a short pitch to enter the ABC Splash War on Waste competition, and then share, we will be submitting our entries to try to win. So that's kind of the project shape. So you hand that out to the students in the first lesson, and then they have to identify 5 things that they already know. So maybe they already have watched the series War on Waste, maybe they have some background information on sustainability issues, maybe they know how to make a film, they're really good at editing, so they write those things down, they're the things I know. And then what are the things that we need to know? So then they write down 5 questions. So what does sustainability mean? How do you make an engaging short video in 60 seconds or 90 seconds? Then we share them around as a class and we generate a whole big list of all the things we're awesome at, and we write the student's name beside it. So Andrea is awesome at editing and Jacob is awesome at presenting. And then we have a big list of all the questions that we want answered, and as we work through the project, we write our answers to the question on the big project wall or in a Google document or something like that. So I think that kind of what do we know, what do we need to know, frames the project really well, and of course the L becomes the learn. So it's just your not very fancy KWL table that most teachers have used for years. So most upper secondary students would be quite familiar with TED Talks. So I think watching some of those sort of short TED Talks, it could be TEDx Talks, as an example, a model text of how to present an idea or present a solution to a problem and really engage an audience is a great activity. So we could watch a few of those, you know, age appropriate of course, and then after watching them we can write a bit of a criteria of success. So what are they doing really well? So they've got effective supporting images on their slideshow. There's not too many words on their slides, it's mostly just images. They are asking rhetorical questions, they use humour, they're looking at their audience, all of those sorts of you know, great qualities of an excellent speech or presentation. We'd make a big list and then we would use them as our criteria for when the kids actually make their own clips. So I think that deconstructing model text doesn't have to be TED, can be any kind of talks. Getting kids to co-construct a criteria and then using that criteria as their guide for when they're creating their actual pitch for this project is a very helpful activity for upper secondary students. So a final activity that I would do with my upper secondary students is called the gallery walk, and I use this in all of my projects. It's well known across a lot of education communities. Essentially what a gallery walk is it's students putting up a sort of visual of their design ideas, usually just on butcher's paper, could be anything really, and then they blue tack it to the wall and one team member stands in front of it. So you have a kind of around your walls in your classroom a little gallery of student project ideas, so design ideas, with one person standing in front of it, and the rest of the class walk around and they look at the ideas, they listen to the ideas that are briefly delivered by the person standing beside it, and then using post-it notes, and I usually use different coloured post-it notes, so yellow for warm feedback, blue for cool feedback. So yellows would be your stars, so these are the things that I think you've done well that I really like, and blue would be your missions, things that you need to improve on, your wishes, and then they go and stick those on the posters. So you don't have to have the students standing beside the poster if you don't want to, if kids are a little bit shy about putting their feedback. But basically, because we've co-constructed a criteria of what a great design solution looks like or what a great video looks like, the students can give feedback using that objective criteria. So they're not saying, I think that's lame or I think that's boring. They are saying things like, you know, I like the way that you have applied design thinking, blah, or whatever. So yeah, the poster would essentially be their design solution, or it could be their idea for their clip, so the way that they're going to go about it. So either way, but yeah, doing a gallery walk is an important way of getting peer feedback and teacher feedback as they move, you know, from the initial stages of the create cycle into actually crafting their final product.